Unwelcome but expected, the coronavirus has hit the UK. It's one which is highly contagious. There's no vaccine, humans don't have immunity, and the virus could mutate, so it's hard to control.
Many more families are going to lose loved ones before their time.
It might be 2 weeks' time, it might be 4 months' time, it might be 12 months' time, who knows?
How on earth did it come to this?
As the pandemic of coronavirus claims more lives around the world, the people of the United Kingdom are now being advised to make drastic changes to their day-to-day existence.
COVID-19 has impacted life everywhere for billions of people.
A crisis that is on the brink of erupting. From lockdown to rising unemployment, young people all around the country are facing the worst prospect in decades.
Hey, Harika. How are you?
There we go. Okay. I'm good. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Arjun. How are you?
All right, man.
How are you? What's been going on, dude? Hey, Mira. What we saying, G? What's the latest in Jordan?
Not much, honestly.
What is going on, my G? Thank you so much for your time, man.
It's all right, man. I'm honoured, honestly. Surprised you thought of me, of all people, as well.
I'm Harika. I am a fifth-year medical student at UCL.
Hi, I'm Arjun. This is the first year that I've started work as a dentist.
Hi, I'm Dominique Lalchin, and I am a PhD student at the University of Hertfordshire. Currently in my second year and pursuing my PhD in psychology.
My name is Mira Faraoun. I'm a freelance videographer and photographer.
My name is Umar Sharif. I am a letting negotiator for Midland Properties Limited.
My name's Joel Goodrow and I'm the founder of Minder, which provides virtual mental health sessions.
My name is Nish Madassia, owner of En Route, which is like a vegan Indian fusion food concept.
Okay, so what effect has COVID had on your life and your work?
9 weeks ago, I traveled to India on a holiday. I took an annual break for my research commitments. And little did I realize that this holiday would be a never-ending one.
Since COVID happened, things have changed quite a bit. I am no longer in my medical school role in hospitals. That's all been shut down just because of the fact that the hospital is not what it used to be.
My main income is through freelance, and I had a couple of projects with a few clients. Like I had a project with a breathing therapist. I had a project with Dead Sea Products, which is the lowest point on earth. And how am I supposed to go shoot that if I can't even leave my house?
We've already had news that a significant number of dental practices are at risk of shutting down very, very soon because there's no way that they can work and there's no way that they can function. So as small businesses, they're not really being supported.
Today, for the first time, we got solid information on whether the lockdown is working in England. And the answer is, sort of. The big Office for National Statistics survey says that 1 in 80 people had the virus in England between 7th and 14th November. That's a bit up from last week when it was 1 in 85. Now, and this graph of infection rates since May shows you what that means in context. You can see right over here, the virus is flattening off. But it's doing so at a high level. When the first lockdown was lifted in June, 1 in 1,700 people had the virus, all the way down here.
I think the cost could be phenomenal and we could undo all the pain and expenses of having had lockdown number 1 as well as lockdown number 2. We've got to get it right. We cannot go into lockdown, unlock, lockdown again. Vaccines are almost around the corner and it is just worth enduring a little bit more.
And in a way, it just like reduces your creativity that way. It's a very limited, I don't know how to explain it, but your creativity is just very limited. And it was kind of sad, even though I know it wasn't my fault, but I just had to tell my clients, like, everything has to be put on hold.
Like we have clientele, like we have international clients from China, from Spain, from Italy, from Russia. So it comes down to, are they going to feel safe to come back to the UK and start renting? And then obviously you have invested in a lot of like sort of developments as well. And you don't know whether these developments are going to pan out.
Another transition is obviously the fact that events, catering and festivals in that, it's a big revenue source that will have to kind of be replaced. But yeah, I guess that's something that we're going to have to readdress. But you know, it's not the all end of events and festivals as we know it. So that will come. But for the short term, I guess, yeah, it's something we have to readdress.
Because we have tenants that are renting properties from us directly, we are basically holding their lives and where they're living. Basically, we control all of that, because a lot of our tenants have been obviously affected by the situation, whether it's been that they've been furloughed, lost their jobs, unable to pay rent. It's basically a case where we hold their sort of living situation in our hands. And obviously at the end of the day, like, we need to make sure that we're working with them to find the best sort of scenario and best sort of way to work with them. Because at the end of the day, we wouldn't want anyone to end up on the street because of us.
In the long run, this is going to have some sort of an impact on our mental health. And the effects may not be immediate, but it can happen down the line.
Research in the current COVID pandemic on mental health is still very early, but researchers have concluded actually that there has been actually heightened stress and anxiety, a lot of uncertainty about the future, and that is due to things like unable to access your medical care. I know even like cancer patients haven't been able to receive treatments, and lots of other treatments have been put on hold. People need to take time out of each day to make sure that they're catching anxieties and stresses early enough on, so that things don't spiral out of control.
I told you, didn't I?
Go and push him again.
When lockdown restrictions were announced in March, just 4 months later, 30-year-old Christopher Eildon, who had no history of mental health issues, had taken his own life. He died in hospital with his family by his side. Christopher worked as a paramedic and was a father of 2. The lockdown, according to his sister Samantha, affected his already fragile life.
He was an NHS hero, paramedic. He was my hero. He always will be. Sorry.
It seems now that particularly in some parts of the country that the numbers of people presenting with acute mental illness has gone up, and that the severity of the illness seems to have gone up as well. And I think these are people who have not had the sort of access to services that they should have had.
So it's very important to not only keep your physical body healthy, but to keep your mind healthy as well. And taking time out of each day to do 1 or 2 exercises before bed, slotting them into different times can be very effective, and it can then be part of your normal routine. And going forward, it's beneficial to do that.
Well, earlier we spoke to the Conservative MP Jake Berry. He leads the Northern Research Group that's been campaigning for a clear route out of lockdown. Well, he told us that allowing people to see their families over Christmas is the right thing to do.
I think the real challenge for the government is that if it doesn't change the rules for Christmas, I think you'll have mass public disobedience with people getting together and seeing their family anyway. And I think once people get into that sort of mode of breaking these rules, which I encourage everyone to stick by, obviously, then it'll be very difficult for them to go back. So I think in truth, the government and the Prime Minister and the Cabinet don't really have any choice. I think they have to relax these rules, otherwise we'll see a sort of self-imposed relaxation by people over Christmas, and they won't really feel like going back to following the rules.
There's really been an atmosphere that, as a profession, we are one, we're united, and we're here to help.
Based on the fact that we are a community-oriented business, we do want to serve the people, and in giving food, I feel is like very much a necessity, just as much as any other key work at the minute. I've kind of felt like a social obligation to to provide a service, and that's something that I'm always willing for.
The pharmacists, the healthcare workers, the physiotherapists have been a godsend. So, you know, it's not just the classic people that you hear about. There are plenty of people behind the scenes who we owe so much to, especially the IT teams. Oh my God, I don't think a hospital could function if they didn't have a proper functioning IT department. So yeah, we're not just clapping for the typical NHS worker, we're clapping for the people behind the scenes, because we couldn't do what we do without them.
Acceptance that some things are just completely out of our control. So I think the main thing that this whole lockdown has given me, and I'm in a lucky position that it's given me this, is it's given me a lot of time to reflect and a lot of time to think, not just about the past and the present, but also looking ahead towards the future.
Have a little bit of trust in the government, because it's not in their interest that we get hurt. And I know it's been tough, but stick it out, because the longer you stick it out, the better our outcomes will be.